going to enlighten me as well as the audience. Now, short story before I let Ms. Ferguson begin. I was at a SCORE event that back in the day when they did it live on and in person at the library. And during the presentation, they brought up a young lady and said, the library offers resources and help to small businesses. And I go, yeah, okay, well, we all know the library got books and everything, so what else is new? But as she got up and started speaking about all the services that the library offered, I was baffled and amazed. So it took me a while to circle back around and ask Ms. Ferguson if she would come on today and talk to us about the services that the library has to offer. So thank you, Ms. Ferguson, for that. Now, please tell us about you. Who is Sarah Ferguson?
Well, I'm a librarian. I did not intend to be one when I was younger. I wanted to be a history teacher, and I graduated in 2007 with my first master's, which was not the greatest time to graduate and want to be a teacher because everybody was staying in their job. But I love sharing information with people. I love learning more myself and then passing on that information. So after a few years working in museums and retail, like most millennials, I decided to go back to school, and I followed the museums and archives track with USC's online library school. And there weren't any jobs open in Charleston then, but there were a few public library jobs. And I thought, well, I still love to talk to people, connect to folks, and teach. So I applied. I finally was hired at the Mount Pleasant Branch Library as an adult services librarian. And then after about a year or so there, I was happy, but I was ready for a new challenge. And the business librarian job opened up, and I applied and somehow got it. So I've gotten to learn a ton in a really short period of time. I've been here for a little over a year. And so I'm a teacher at heart. I love sharing info with people and helping them in their own lives in whatever way I can. I'm not from here. I was born and raised in Virginia, but I moved here, after the graduation. That didn't launch me into the world. My mom had moved here with her new husband and said, come live with us and figure it out. So I lived here since 2009. I recently got married. I met myself a nice Charleston boy. And he's also working in the library system. So we're two book nerds. And we have a cat who lives in one of our bookcases most of the time. And that's kind of who I am, really. I love to read. I love to travel when I can and hang out with my boy and my cat.
Well, it sounds to me like you have a very full life, and it's very good to have that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you. Now, you listed teaching, which is education. You listed museums. You listed retail. How did all of those previous occupation, you think, prepared you for what you do now at the Charleston County Library?
They totally did, actually. So teaching, the main part of my job, really. I do consultations with folks, like how I met you. We have people from SCORE and the SBDC and other places who send their entrepreneurs to us for research assistance. My main part of my job is 30-minute, that typically turn into an hour because I can't stop talking, research consultations, personalized reference service, which is one-on-one instruction, or if you have a business partner, feel free to bring them along too. So I've learned, my first master's was in education. My second one was the MLIS. So I've learned how to teach, how people learn. So I try to tailor each of my interactions to how people need to absorb the information, what their questions are, how they tend to learn, what makes them, best able to understand what I have to share. Because it can be a lot, especially if you're new to business. So retail customer service is a huge part of what we do in the library. And it's a little different. Folks aren't as, rude sometimes to us as they can be when you're working in a store. We can't go check in the back, for your book. If it's not on the shelf, it's not here. But learning to anticipate what the customer or patron is going to ask for, your reference interview questions. I've become a pretty good reader of people. So I tend to get to their point pretty quickly and ask questions that they're like, I didn't think that was relevant, but it found what we needed. So Retail helps with that. Museums, caring for objects is similar to caring for books. You need to have them organized in a specific fashion. You need to be able to find them easily. You need to be able to explain them, because an object in a museum is no good unless you can interpret it for your audience. So being able to get to the heart of what a person's question is, get them the right resource, put it in their hands, that's part of what we do.
My goodness. And how much do y'all charge for this?
Your tax dollars at work, basically. We even do notary service too, and they can charge you quite a bit for notary service outside the library. I'm a notary. We do it here, so we're a great community resource. Cost you nothing.
Wow, I'm telling you. So now, tell me, what are the services that the business area is going to need, since you're the business librarian? We know they have a whole lot of other services, but today we want to focus specifically and exactly on business. So kind of tell us about those.
Okay, so we have two different kinds of business collections. We have our physical collection of actual books. Part of that collection are the business reference books. We have a section in the back of the main library on the second floor that is our business and workforce development center. And we have some physical reference books. We have financial ratio books, typically a lot of business students. So if you're still in school or grad school, they're the ones who tend to need those. We have encyclopedias, business, general resources for reference, such as business encyclopedias, advertising encyclopedias. There are the SIC and NAICS code books that are like that thick each. We have those. A little harder to go through. I prefer to, Google or use the databases for those myself, but those are there. We have the circulating collection, which is our regular nonfiction, the 600s, the 650s typically for business, or some of the 300s if you're looking for like the legal incorporation guides, how to run your business, taxes, HR, all that stuff. So we have a circulating collection, a reference collection, and then we have our digital collection. And that's really where I spend the bulk of my time with reference for consultations. Those are our online databases. Those are our online collections of books. We have access to Hoopla and Libby with your library card. Overdrive, I don't tend to use as much. I find Libby a bit more user-friendly. So you can check out business books, ebooks online with your tablet, your phone, your computer. So those are just the basics of what we have, the categories. And I can go into deeper detail if you'd like with the databases.
You know what? You read my mind. Let's do it.
Did I?
Yes,
that
you
anticipating
did.
your needs, yes.
You did say you were an educator and you understand and how to read people. You read my mind. So let me follow you.
Okay. So if you want to bring it up on the screen, that might really be helpful.
Let's go to the screen here, cousin.
Yeah.
We're going to start with, cousin, bring up the...
Here at the library.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
So I can.
Okay. Under Use Your Library, and we come down to Business Resources. And when we do, this is what we have. Tell us about these.
So these are broken up into, your main categories for your business. I typically meet people when they are just beginning. They've usually been sent to me by their SCORE mentor or somebody at the SBDC, and they're doing their homework. They've got questions they have to answer for their mentor. I had one yesterday. The man needed to know about e-commerce, how it's grown in the last few years, how much people have spent online purchasing things in the last year, which might be a bit of a blip because we've had a really weird last year and a half. But so you come here to do starting your business and you perfectly scroll down. You can see we have so many different things we can help you with. We can help you with your demographics, how people are spending their money. Finding financing is really a tough thing for people in the beginning. So we've got resources to help you find out how to fund yourself. Business plans are a lot of people's questions. They've never written one. They're nervous. They're scared. We have databases that are excellent. They have templates. You can see how they're meant to be built, the different ways you can attack the process. And competitor analysis is also a really fun thing. My favorite database, and I know that sounds like a really nerdy thing to say, is reference solutions, and you can do competitor analysis, all that. We also help you find mentors if you don't already have one. I have a list of groups you can contact for help. Local organizations we're trying to grow our connection with, because a lot of folks don't know that we exist, which is partly why I'm here. Thank you, Daryl.
You're welcome.
But we're trying to get the word out and creating calling and marketing lists. We also use reference solutions for that. It's super helpful. Continuing education is not something I've had to help a lot with, but we do have resources for it, especially in the Small Business Reference Center. The industry reports, I haven't had a lot of people ask for help with that, because typically those would be more for students who are working on, their MBA or whatever. Their academic library has a lot of that too. The video courses, these are super helpful. We have LinkedIn Learning. It used to be called Lynda. You can take online free courses to learn pretty much anything you need to do with a computer. You can learn everything from like photo editing to better Excel skills. It's really great. I do it in my own spare time because, again, I'm a nerd. If you're looking for stock and funding information, we've got Morningstar and Value Line to follow your investments, and so much more. But yeah.
Now tell us about the special events. What are those?
So right now, those are on hiatus because we're not doing in-person programming yet.
Okay.
But when we're able to, we are going to start bringing back SCORE here in the library. I've been talking to Larry, and when we can do it, we'll do it. I want to start doing personal classes on showing folks, how to search, how to do grant research too. That's the other half of my job. I'm also the nonprofit grant librarian. So I want to start doing classes again on how to do this. I would like to do something about, like, I'm new to Charleston County, or I'm new to starting a business in Charleston. What are the steps I need to take? And just have all of that in one class, because there's some conflicting information there. And I think it'd be nice to just be a one-stop shop for people here in town who want to get their business off the ground, but not, spend a ton of money trying to do it.
Excellent. Now, you guys also have something that's quite interesting under research. And you kind of mentioned it, but let's dive into the deep end. Once they go to the Charleston County Library website, and then they look at the tabs, and then they find research, and under research, they come down to business and finance. Tell us about this.
These are great. And the good thing about the library website is if you have your CCPL library card, you can access this from home. Like you're, at your office, you're not here in the library. You're able to do all this research on your own time when the library is closed. We do have in every open library at least one dedicated database computer. So if you needed to, you could come in and sit for several hours. People do it. I'm the only business librarian, but I'm happy to go to branches if someone needs help. I want to start doing that too when we get, a bit more open. I want to have classes at every branch eventually. So, but anyway, back to the topic. We're here at the database. You can log on to any of these from home. So what you can do is pick whatever your topic is going to be. If you want to scroll down, I like, for example, the reference solutions, and they are alphabetized, which is helpful too when you're looking for what you're trying to get to. You're scrolling past some of my other favorites, though. I really love entrepreneurship, especially if you're new. There's some great information there. And down to reference solutions, that's where you go for your consumer mailing lists. We can get addresses, literally where people live, to send them direct mail. You can find out what they're interested in, their purchasing habits. You can find businesses that are maybe your potential competitors. If you're trying to figure out for your business plan, how much funding do I need? How much will I be spending in my first few years? You can look up other businesses that do kind of what you do, and they have their estimated business expenses, how much they spend on rent, on telecommunications, on accounting. You can get an idea of how much you're going to need. And you're at one of my other favorites. Yeah, this is where you would log in. You only have to do this once a day with your library card number and your PIN. And then once you're in, you can search around. But again, if you don't have a county card, you can come into a library. Nobody will bother you. Just come on in, sit down at the database computer. You can access it without having a library card.
Now, what is the virtual
This is a
library?
great resource. Discus is how we are involved in the whole state,
Okay.
virtual library.
Good, 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 good.
It's great.
So, how much
South Carolina
time?
has a really great library system.
How much time in a typical day, Ms. Ferguson, do you spend counseling business people or prospective business people? How much of your day is involved in actually talking with people and helping them?
It really depends on the day. I've had days where I've had nobody. I've had days where I get a few phone calls. I have days where I get several emails. I've had one day where I had 3 consultations back to back. I scheduled an hour each just in case, which was great because I ended up needing that time. So it's very sporadic. I can go a few days without having any personal business questions versus a stack of them. So it just depends. And that's partly why we're trying to get the word out because, I love working on the desk with folks, but when the phone rings, you never know what they're going to ask. They could want a phone number for some random person in New York City and you have to find it for them, which is fun. I love doing that. But I really love that one-on-one time. And, we're trying to get the word out. We don't want to be as passive with receiving patrons. We want to have people, know about us and us to go in the community and find folks. So I would love to talk to more people. So if you're watching, call me.
Call you. Well, I hope they do. Let me ask you,
Yeah.
as I go back to the Business Resource Center, and cousin, bring up the website, please. When we talk about starting business, what percentage of the people who you talk to are starting a business? What would you educationally guess that percentage would be? A small number, a great
Oh,
number, or
probably
what?
about 90%. And most folks come to me, it's their first real step.
Okay. Okay. Do they have any idea of what is needed other than I know I want to start a business and I want to make money?
Mm-hmm. Most of them do, because like I said, a lot of them come from having already spoken to a SCORE mentor. They've already gotten involved with SBDC or the Women's I Hope Center. So most folks come with at least a general idea of what they're getting into. I've had maybe 5 or 6 folks who have actually started their plan. They've done more research already, but then they're hitting a wall. They don't know one particular step. Like, how do I find out, how much I need for funding? I don't know how much I'll need. So I tend to get a lot of true novices, but then there are those people who I actually get to really dig in and go for the deeper questions. And that's the thing. Nobody has called me with a duplicate question, with a duplicate business. I've gotten to stretch my own brain because I didn't come from a business background. It always terrified me. My dad was self-employed and I thought, I'm never doing that. That's terrifying. So respect to those of you who do. It's crazy. So, but we have this one basket of resources that I can use to answer pretty much any question, which I love because it's never the same thing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's take a look back at the resources and tell us about running a business. How do you help people through this tab of running a business?
Sure. You want to go ahead and click it so we can have all
Okay.
the stuff? Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
I haven't memorized our website.
That's okay.
So like I've been saying, researching your competitors is a huge part of this one. This is where you can go to reference solutions mostly, especially if you're looking for local competitors. If you're looking for, publicly traded companies who you're looking to go up against, that would be more helpful on the business essentials database. But reference solutions is where most people tend to go because you're looking at other small businesses here in the Charleston area. So there, I recommend folks take a look at their office expenses. And then if you keep scrolling down there, that SIC and NAICS code, you really need to know where you'll fall in that categorization because it can get so detailed and so granular. It's very interesting. I had someone ask me once, they wanted to buy pallets for their company, but they wanted to purchase from a woman-owned company in the Southeast. Well, I could find, thanks to, the NAICS codes, just companies that made pallets And then I was able to use the database, gender search to find women who own companies that make those things. And then there's a geography filter. I did, the southeastern states typically that you would think of. And then he had a list of like 20 odd companies that he could contact. So
Wow.
I recommend folks definitely use those two things.
Wow.
Price setting, I haven't helped anyone with personally, but I know it's coming, of course. That's a question people, I think, as you're beginning to look at selling your goods or your wares or whatever it is that you're doing, or even your services, how much is your time worth? We have books that help with that. And then trade articles, we have access to all these great peer-reviewed academic sources as well as recognized business journals and stuff. So take a look. They're out there. It can be a bit to weed through, but that's why a search helper like me who loves to dig in for subject terms can help you narrow your search. Because when you do look at Google search, you've got hundreds and hundreds of pages of potential answers. But if you make your question more specific, you can get a more focused answer and waste less time. But not everyone knows how to search that way. There's actually a whole class you take on it in library school about how to be effective at searching and how to retrieve information that way. So if it's overwhelming, call us. We can help.
My goodness. Now, I noticed on the website that there are books flashing back and forth. Cousin, can we go back to the website, please? Now, are these books available hard copies, electronically, or both?
Yes, it depends. So if you see where it says request item up on the top, that's where you can get it from our catalog. And you can always search up here. You've got it there, the classic catalog. You can type in the title of a book, see if we have it. If we don't have it, we can always check one of the online catalogs. Hoopla's catalog is not searchable through our database because theirs is a separate catalog and we can't put it in ours. It's a technical reason. I didn't pay attention to the real answer. Anyway, because I'm not a cataloger. So it's just not there. That's all I know.
Okay.
So you go to Hoopla. They've got tons of free stuff on there. But the other thing, if we can't get it, if we don't have it in our collection, we do offer interlibrary loan where we have a brilliant, dedicated librarian who scours libraries across the continental U.S. to find you the book that you want. And it comes to you within a few weeks. It's a free service. They used to charge for it. Now we don't. If you can't find, something that you need, we will find it for you. Just let us know what you need. We'll find a way to get it to you.
Man, you guys are the best.
Unless it's like an Amazon-only book, then we can't.
And I'm sure there are plenty of those. The next thing I want to talk about is tailoring your business. What benefit does that bring to the business owner or potential business owner?
Well, for that, you have to make sure that you're providing what your consumers want. I use this kind of analogy with my husband where he loves to give people things and he'll show up like at your house with brownies and you're like, well, that's great, but I really love cookies. And he's like, but I made you brownies. And you're like, I know, but I want cookies. So if you're a brownie maker, you want to sell to brownie lovers, not cookie lovers. So we can help you look at your demographics, help you figure out how to target the folks that you're trying to get to. The Demographics Now database is great for that. And then with Reference Solutions, a lot of their stuff comes from the census and the American Community Survey. So we know what kind of people live here in Charleston. We know even geographically where they are. A lot of the databases have a heat map function. So you can it's connected to Google Maps. And when you put in like you want people over 55 who have cars, maybe if you're doing like a mobile detailing business or something, you can pull it up on the map and see with the bright red spots where those people are. And then another trick that you can do in Demographics Now is there is a traffic count function. So you can actually click a button and it will bring you a downloaded PDF of the county's traffic counts at certain intersections, pretty much every major intersection. And so you can see, like, if you're trying to maybe rent a storefront and you want to see where people who do what you're interested in travel, you want to see where you're going to get a lot of foot traffic or car traffic, really. It'll help you figure out maybe where you should go. where you should focus your advertising efforts, where you should put your brick and mortar if that's what you're going to be doing. So you can do a lot with that too.
Wow. I mean, this is so amazing. And I said at the outset, I was really amazed at everything that you guys offer. I mean, it's just so much that
People are floored.
I know, because I am floored. And tell me, as we look at the last one, and I
Mm-hmm.
believe it has something to do with marketing. And once
Mm-hmm.
again, as we look at the marketing your business, tell us how you use this tab to help those that are either starting a business or those that are currently in business.
Mm-hmm. So I haven't had a ton of questions for this. I've only had a handful. Typically, it's folks who are looking for direct marketing people. I had someone who wanted to target people who had just moved into new apartment buildings to do, he had like a food takeaway service, like with making meals and then people can order them and then come pick them up. And if you've just moved, finding
Right,
somewhere to eat is just a nightmare your first few weeks.
right.
So he wanted to find out how to market to these new movers. There's a section on database reference solutions for new homeowners and movers. And you can search like in the last 6 months, he put in a zip code and selected multi-unit housing, and it gave him a list of everybody who'd moved in that zip code into an apartment in the last 6 months. So it can help you target those people here. I love how it does mention they have videos. If you can't get in for a convenient time with me, sometimes I always recommend looking at the databases themselves. They have webinars, they have tutorials, because we can spend hours going over what they have. So, and I'm happy to talk to you more than once if you ever need to.
Oh, we need to. Oh, yes,
But yeah.
definitely. This is just the beginning of a
Mm-hmm.
long, long interview process.
Yeah.
Now, what
But
was
yeah,
this? I see that it's unavailable. When it's
I
working,
am
what
not
is this?
sure.
Okay. Video is
Not sure.
unavailable.
I should report that to I should report that to our webmaster.
And let's see where it takes us.
Hmm.
Student discount plan, music free. Okay, no, that's not, no,
Probably
not
a
where
dead
we're at.
link. I'll have to
Yeah,
report
dead
that.
link. Okay,
Thank
we'll
you.
come out of that. You're welcome. Because it says how to build and download a list of businesses. Oh, I guess this is a
Okay,
how
might have.
to.
Yep,
Somebody probably
they might
recorded
have taken
you
it
showing
down.
somebody how to use the list.
It's probably
Okay.
from Reference Solutions, I bet.
More than likely, right here, reference solution. Now, tell me, and this is a question that just came popping into my very little mind here.
No.
Now, we know that you have all of these resources, and we know that you have a partnership with SCORE, and that you also assist with the Small Business Development Center, the Increasing Hope Women's Small Business Center,
Mm-hmm.
and then also there's Miss Ruth down at the City of Charleston with the
Mm-hmm.
Minority and Women's Business. How do you feel you compliment them in their efforts to help people start and run businesses? What do you think is your value added that they don't necessarily have, but you do?
Well, I think, that we have these resources and they send us, folks because they know that we have them. And we have, the personalized skill to be able to assist in a way that can be very valuable for people's time. Like I said, I try to keep it to a half an hour, maybe an hour max, if that's okay with your timing. Because, we've had to have special training in this to organize and retrieve information and be able to help people, quickly, but also effectively. So I think, I can partner with them in a way that they have the serious needed information. I have the stuff that, kind of fills out what they have. They assign a student, for example, homework, or helping them really think about what they're trying to do, because of course it's someone's livelihood here. So they really want to help this person do as well as they can, and they prepare them on the business side. I can help with the resources, with as far as value added. I mean, we don't cost anything really, other than your tax money. And if you look at your bill, it's not a whole lot for what we do. So I think by providing a space for people to come and work too. We've got tons of, tables and empty corners of the library. We've got free Wi-Fi. You don't have to go to Starbucks and work anymore. You can come here. We've got, water and bathrooms. You can eat. It's okay. We're a safe place for people to come and get their questions answered, to get their work done if they need somewhere quiet to do that. And I think it's a pretty good natural partnership.
You know what? You answered that perfectly. Because I used to, in my young days, used to teach small business classes at Trident Tech. I also taught management, logistics, and transportation. So here's how I see it, okay? Cousin, bring us both up on the computer, please. When you're doing a business plan, right, there are the different components to the business plan. So what the guys and girls are doing at these various organizations that you work so elegantly with, they don't have the books. They may have some of it, but they have the knowledge and the expertise from the technical business standpoint. What they need is they need the information that you have on the marketing plans, on the finance, on the management, on the accounting. So what happens is you help them to be able to help the entrepreneur write the business plan. Because like I said, they don't carry all the books and resources that you have. Now they know about them, but they don't have them for the entrepreneur to be able to utilize. So in the class I taught, it dealt with writing the business plan. So I understand that they have to come and get information so that they can do the business plan. So your niche is, hey, I've got the books and materials that you need in order to answer the different components of the business plan that your mentor wants you to understand. And only if you do it, you will understand how your business needs to operate. So you help them with the resources that the entrepreneur needs. That, of course, SCORE doesn't have a big building to store a lot of books and material. Why reinvent the wheel when you already have that wheel? You follow what I'm saying? So that's the value added that you add. So what happens when someone doesn't go to SCORE or SBDC or the Women's Business Center, et cetera, they don't know about you and the Charleston County Library and what they offer to be able to help them to put that business plan together. And so when I found out at a SCORE class about the business librarian, my mind was boom. I didn't realize that there was. Now, at Trident, they subscribe to the same database that you're talking about. So students there would be able to access that information. But if I'm not at Trident and I don't know about the Charleston County Library and Miss Sarah Ferguson and that free taxpayers database, I would be totally lost. So that's how I see, Ms. Sarah, you helping to shape and mold the understanding of potential business owners. Now, that does not stop there because once I'm in business, and then, as you said before, you help people with specific marketing, target marketing, and financing your business information. So now I've started a business. Now I'm trying to grow the business, or I'm trying to get into another business. So once again, I've got to come to you at the
Mm-hmm.
library because you've got the resources that I need. So unless I'm subscribing to that big database, I won't have the information. So you see,
Mm-hmm.
you are very, very important to these guys and
Oh,
girls. I
keep my head
hope
down.
that once a month they come and give you a big hug because you are so important in their success and the success of those entrepreneurs. So this is why I was so grateful and glad when you agreed to come onto the show to talk about what you guys do because it is essential as a support or a value added to those already named organizations that's out there helping
Mhm.
small people to get into big businesses and become big business owners.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can send that check to me anytime. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Sarah, on a serious note here, is there anything else that you would like to add at this point that we haven't discussed?
Um, Not really, other than just to say, we are here. It's sad that the library needs to, fight for its reasons to exist. Nowadays, people really do question, how much longer will we need libraries and librarians? And I'm like, please, no, we do. You don't understand. We're really valuable. And even though, we're one of the few places you can come without having to spend money, we're here to help people, and we're more than just books. We're not just databases. We're also connections to the community, to community services. If you or anyone needs help with anything, we don't have like a library social worker yet that's on our wish list, but we're here to help everybody. And we have a workforce development librarian that I partner with, and we're really hoping to build our department more. So, as you grow your small business, if you need workers, contact us. We've got folks who are always looking for jobs. We're helping folks with their soft skills, with resumes, how to write a cover letter. No one likes writing a cover letter. If you do, you need help.
Serious help.
But,
Yeah.
I hate it. But just, we're here and we really want to help. We are in this profession because, we love talking to people, helping people. We love to read. Yeah, we don't get to do that very often actually at work. But just, we're here and we want to help.
Miss Sarah, can I like for 2 minutes just get on a on a box? They call them soap
The soapbox. Uh
boxes.
huh. Sure.
Yeah. The problem is this, in my opinion. People have been led into a false sense that what they need is this thing called a cell phone. And they have been led to believe that everything they want, need, or desire is in the cell phone. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that is true to the extent that there is a lot of information in here. But how many of us truly knows how to use all of the information that's in here? So what we do, we go to Facebook, we go to Instagram, and we go to TikTok, and we go to YouTube. And yes, that is part of the story. But what we are missing is that you guys have the whole story if we just take the time to come and ask the questions. So the problem is not is that you guys are not needed. The problem is that people have failed to realize what they need is not all in here. So I want you to know that there are millions of people out there who realize just how helpful and how vibrant you guys are. Now, you know, people are always looking for ways to cut money from one budget so that they can increase it in another budget. But anyhow, I'm going to get down off of that, and I want you to know that you guys provide a valuable service, and as time goes on and people begin to realize that, that is going to be self-evident. So don't ever worry about your relevancy and how valuable the services that you guys provide totally is necessary in the community. So now I'm going to climb down, and once again, Miss Sarah, thank you so very much. Oh, was I'm thinking, you did touch on something that I was going to talk to you about. That is Miss Stacy and her job helping with the skills and other things. Because like you said, once I open my business and I grow my business to a certain level where I now need help, where can I go for free help? You know, there's 3 words I used to tell my student that everybody will perk up and listen to. Give me a guess what you think those 3 words are.
One of them probably might be free.
Right. Starts with an S. A. L. E.
Sale?
Yes.
Yep.
And the last one starts with an S. E. X.
That'll get your attention, yeah.
Sale, free, and sex. Those 3 words will get your attention just like that. So now I'm going to let you go. But before, let Miss Stacy know that I'm gunning for her.
Okay.
What and how do we contact you, Miss Ferguson, should we desire your help?
Sure. So I have an email. It is fergusons, FERGUSONS, at ccpl.org. And I also have a phone. It's 843. I have to look at it because I never remember. 843-805-6950. And I'm here typically during the week, Monday through Friday, but I do work one weekend a month. So if you call on a Friday and I don't answer or call you back, that's why I'm not there that day. But I've got voicemail. I always reply within 24 hours of getting an email or a phone, unless I'm. So yeah, that's how you get me.
Once again, email, phone numbers, and your hours when you are there. Let me know, is it easier to call in advance? But what happens if if I'm happening to be downtown? Do you accept walk-ins if you don't already have an appointment?
Sure. Yeah. The only other thing, I do have meetings every now and again, and I do also work the service desk. So if you call the main ask a question line, your chances of getting me are pretty high. But I'm usually only on a desk between 2 and 3 hours a day. So it just, depends. You can always, call if you're heading down this way and see if I'm available. And if I can meet you, I always will.
Phone number and email again. One more time, please, Ms. Sarah.
Sure. fergusons@ccpl.org and 843-805-6950.
Thank you so very much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we only talk to people who know what the hell they're talking about, because we don't want to waste your time with people who speculate and thinking they thought and they know what they don't know and then they're talking. But today, once again, we brought you Miss Sarah Ferguson, who is the business librarian at the Charleston County Library downtown on Calhoun Street. If you've got a question, I bet she's got an answer. So give her a chance and she'll give you an answer. Thanks, Miss Sarah. And
Thank you so much.
cousin, take us out of here.